Well, greetings, race fans. Coming at you here tonight. It's Jakester in the booth here with Intensity Broadcasting, and it's some more of the SCSRA Tammy Butchino Dev Sporting Cards Cup Series here tonight at Charlotte in our own iteration of the longest race in stock car racing with the Coke 300, technically. Not really affiliated with Coca-Cola by any means, but it is the equivalent of the Coke 600 with a 300-mile race here at Charlotte. 200 laps the distance. And it looks like it's going to be a nice sunny evening here in Charlotte. We're going to start kind of in the daytime and roll into the nighttime. Should be good. Should be exciting. Charlotte's always an interesting race. Always something to behold. And tonight, also with a little bit more added intensity to the whole situation. It is the regular season finale for the for the SCSRA Dev Sports Cards Cup Series here. And only 12 drivers at the end of tonight will be locked in to the chase going forward for the remainder of the season. On the bubble as it sits right now, Joe Irwin, whom we're looking at right there, the 03 Chevrolet. He is currently the last car in the chase at the moment. 12th place, he's got Vince Brent, Josh Hall, and Cale Thorpe behind him. One win this season for Joe Irwin. And as it looks right now, Brent is in the field with the incentive to try and fight for, it looks like about 7 points will be the difference that he needs to make up on Joe Irwin. As they sit and practice here, that would be about 7 points in favor of Brent to Joe Irwin if they finished as they are running in practice right now. We also got Cale Thorpe in the field and Josh Hall. And guarantee it might be a pressure cooker here tonight for the 3 drivers on the outside looking in. David Hartney is by no means super safe. He's in the field here tonight as well. So between him, Joe Irwin, and maybe even Colin Hoffman kind of in the danger zone there in the top 12. If Vince Brent, Josh Hall, or Cale Thorpe were able to convert to a good finish here tonight. A little bit longer on the practice session here. They may or may not cut it short. I'm not for sure on that, but we might be going green a little bit later here for the longest race of the season. Well, 25 minutes left in practice. Typically, this would be about the point in time where we got 5 minutes left in practice to get rolling into qualifying here tonight. Give us another opportunity to check out the standings as they sit right now. We'll look at the Rookie of the Year title here in 2026, Season 12 of the SCSRA Tammy Butchino Memorial Cup Series here. Holden Wheeler, 2 race wins, 69-point lead over Christopher Bishop. And you also got Colin Hoffman in the mix there, but it's going to be kind of a runaway for Holden Wheeler if he doesn't miss any races here. It looks like Holden Wheeler is sporting a new paint scheme here tonight. Definitely dig the new paint schemes week in, week out. I know that he's ran with that sponsor on the car, but the scheme definitely has a different appeal to it. I feel like the car number's a little different there, so always like to shake it up once in a while, see some new paint schemes, see some new ink on the racetrack. And that Wertgen Sentinel Fit Chevrolet Rookie of the Year leader, and he is running for the championship as well. He's been giving them all their worth out there week in and week out, running as strong as he can, fighting for wins, leading laps. And we'll see how the chase fares for all these drivers. Go ahead and take the opportunity here to give a shout out to our sponsors that help keep the wheels rolling at Intensity Broadcasting. Of course, first and foremost, got to give a shout out to the main sponsor of this league. Presented by Dev Sports Cards, the primary partner of the SCSRA and a consistent supporter of the league. Their eBay store has a fresh batch of auctions closing soon. From star rookies to vintage chase cards, plus 25-cent combined shipping on qualifying orders. If you want to support the people who support sim racing, check out Dev Sports Cards on eBay before those listings expire. And of course, bringing in our replays every week, you got Butt Kicker, bringing a whole new dimension to immersive entertainment. Butt Kicker has pioneered a tactile feedback technology that lets you feel the action. Whether you're behind the wheel in a sim rig, watching a blockbuster in your home theater, or in the studio dialing in the low end, with 2 decades of industry leadership, their haptic transducers convert audio signals into physical vibration, turning sounds into sensations. If you've ever wished you could feel that racing shift, explosion, or bass drop, Butt Kicker makes it real. And ultimately, the hidden opponent in racing. Everyone prepares for the competitors they can see, but one of the toughest opponents a driver can face never shows up on the timing screen. The hidden opponent is tackling the mental health battle inside the helmet, educating athletes, supporting teams, and giving the racing community language, tools, and leadership to talk about what usually stays silent. Because when drivers confront the hidden opponent, it doesn't just make them faster, it makes the whole garage stronger. Now, whether you're watching tonight, Intensity Broadcast on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, check out those links down below if interested. Definitely give the sponsors some love if you can. So we got 21 minutes left in practice here. Matt Band's fastest in practice with a 30.01. Then you had Matt Pericini with 30.04. Bishop with an 06. Gomes with an 08. Vince Brent with an 09. And then Holden Wheeler with a 39.10. 30.10, not 39. Everyone's in within basically within a quarter of a second of each other from 1st to 17th. So the field is definitely tight on lap times here tonight. Apologies, I stepped away from the computer there for a moment, and we are into qualifying right on the dot at 6:30 Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern time. Practice session was cut short like I thought it would be. Right now you're looking at Holden Wheeler run his hot lap here, try and set a fast time tonight. Wow, Matt Pericini, quickest time already with a 30.00. And he's on his second lap, but even then, lap times are dropping even quicker here as Vince Brent turns a 29.99. And even Ryan Gomes with a solid 29.92. That is clipping around here at Charlotte. Here comes his second timed lap. We'll see if it's quicker even more. And not quite a 30.08 second lap. Vince Brent, second lap a 30.25. Second lap's definitely a little bit slower, but Joe Irwin tops third there, tied basically for second with Vince Brent. 29.99 and 29.99. Also, looks like we got about 8 cars yet to qualify for 18 in total here tonight. Joe Irwin's going to set his second lap, and it's just a hair quicker, evidently. It nudges Vince Brent down to third, 29.99. Our ticker on the left shows 29.98. Whoa, Matt Baines flying, sets a 29.85. Getting ready to set his first time here tonight. Phil Ellis Jr. in the 29 machine. Lap time best for 9th on the timing board there, 30.08. This one might be a ringer here. Garrett Walden often sets some pretty quick lap times. We'll see what his qualifying position is here tonight. First lap, good for 8th with a 30.07. Still has the second lap if he decides to run it here. Running the blank number 43 here tonight. Not very usual. Not sure if there's a side story to that or not, but run the blank 43 here. He's in the mix for the chase this year, so we'll see how he fares here tonight. Still sets it in 8th place. Wasn't quick on the second lap there. Brandon Anderson, 11th quickest. And it looks like at the back of the field, maybe holding off and not qualifying, you got AJ Evangelista, David Hartney, and Ian Davis. I have not seen his name this season, so maybe making his first start here tonight in season 12. And that's going to be all for qualifying. It looks like I don't see anyone else taken to the track here. Matt Baines sets pole position over Ryan Gomes. 29.85. Baines laid out a blistering lap there to get pole position. $18 cars total showing up to the race here tonight. And now we've got qualifying lineup where we can show it here. One page, don't have to scroll on this one. Matt Baines, Ryan Gomes lead the way here tonight with Joe Irwin in the 03 car. Starting third, Vince Brent. Fourth, Matt Pericini. That's your top 5. Then you got Christopher Bishop, Holden Wheeler, Garrett Walden, Colin Hoffman, and Phil Ellis Jr. for your top 10. Brandon Anderson, Josh Hall, who's definitely going to need some luck here tonight to get up to the front and get some points to get into the chase. Lauren Vinson in 13th, Cale Thorpe 14th, and Austin Fassett 15th. David Hartney matching the car number on the side of the door, starting 16th here tonight, with AJ Evangelista and Ian Davis rounding out the field. Your bottom three not taking a qualifying lap here tonight. Well, I'm stoked for this one here tonight, folks. It should be a good one. 300 miles of hardcore stock car racing. They're going to be starting on pit road to get things started here tonight, make a full pace lap. Like I said, the regular season finale here tonight, so these drivers are racing with a little bit of added incentive to try and put themselves in a better cushion for the chase. Devin Butchino, that was the feel-good win last race at Talladega. He's up to 6th in the points. The chase reset, it's going to be interesting. Trying to search Discord for some rules on the chase, and if anyone that's watching is able to maybe link me to some more details, I'd like to know how the chase
green flag
works out for the series. But otherwise, I'll just call the racing action until I know more. We're green and rolling here tonight. Out of the gates, Matt Baines, Ryan Gomes, they're going to be racing towards stage break here tonight at lap 35. That'll be stage 1, and we do have a second stage here at Charlotte, which will be at lap 100, so at the halfway point. The first stage, kind of a shakedown run, basically, get a feel for what your car's got here tonight. And then that last run is going to be all about, or the second stage is definitely going to be a kind of a conservation run, figuring out how long you can stretch the fuel run here at Charlotte. I think the window is usually about 65 laps. So that second stage, just at about 65 laps. Might have some drivers that are figuring out how to save fuel on a 65 lap run here tonight.
The yellow flag is out.
We're under caution for the first time here at lap number 3. Oh shoot, my bad. The standings was still up. Apologies, folks. That was on me. Well, let us dial up the butt kicker replay here tonight and see what brought out the first caution here this evening. Okay, so first caution of the night brought upon. It's like David Hartney gets loose right there with Christopher Bishop, and Austin Fassett gets into it there. 05, it looked like the 05 ran into him. That was Evangelista clipping him there. And you can see already mid-spin, that's the 16 of David Hartney. He gets run into here by the 15 of Bishop. He's going full slideways, kind of true Biffle spirit there, doing the burnout, but not in a burnout style that you want to be doing it in the middle of a race. But it definitely, you got to give it some style points there for sliding as far as he did and minimizing the damage on that 16 machine. The 88 definitely got the worst of that whole transition there. Well, we're doubling up for the restart here. Not had any luck, so I was trying to look and find some more details for everyone to cover the kind of the nitty-gritty details on the chase, and I haven't found anything in my perusing on the Discord channel. Just trying to search general terms to find more details on the chase. I'm assuming it's going to be more like the modern current standings of the chase, so maybe it'll be reset based on where you are in the overall points. So obviously if you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to get more points from the top down. So obviously the regular season champion will be seated best. Race wins may or may not be a factor in the situation, but we'll find out one way or another, either next week or details that get unveiled here tonight. We're back and rolling. Right on into the lead. Matt Bands keeps the top spot here. Joe Irwin up to second. Vince Brent right there in third. Gomes on the high side. Does look like there's a couple cars out there that are running some patriotic paint schemes for this holiday week. Technically, it's not the weekend yet, but any day can feel like a weekend if you make it. And of course, with some SCSRA Cup racing, it feels a little bit more like a weekend right now, that's for sure. Great racing at the front of the field. Only one caution here to start the race at lap 3. It looks like we're going to get into the racing now. Matt Bands is defending against Joe Irwin. Irwin running the high line here, high, wide, and handsome like Kyle Larson. 72 running that low line. So we've got some alternating lines developing here already. The comers and goers. It will be a factor of conservation at one point or another here tonight, whether that is saving your tires for that last 100 lap run, or even stage 2 trying to save your fuel to try and make it to the end of the stage without pitting. Matt Band's doing an excellent job at defending the advances here by Joe Irwin. He's even mixing up his lines a little bit to try and get Joe Irwin off his toes here. Either way, your top two kind of driving away with it at the moment. There are scattered battles throughout the field, but we're keeping our eyes on the lead here because this could be a battle for the lead waiting to happen. Joe Irwin making the move going into turn 3. He's going to slide up the track here, but that 72 of Bands is going to hold strong. They're going to drag race down the front stretch. Irwin showing his muscle early here tonight in Charlotte. Bands, though, not laying up. He's going to fight hard on the high side here. Ooh, there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on there with the 03 getting up into his side draft and into the get the draft off the side, and there we go. 72 slide job maneuver gets back underneath Joe Irwin and is going to try to maintain the lead here in stage number 1. All of a sudden that has opened the door, the gates, to let the 09 of Holden Wheeler by. Joe Irwin gets a little too loose there, run a little too hard. And now Holden Wheeler on the attack, looking to try and take the lead from the 72 of Matt Bands. And that's definitely the case there with Holden Wheeler's car, as well as it's a tribute, kind of a patriotic scheme here tonight at Charlotte. As you often see at the Coke 600, a lot of patriotic tweaks and modifications to existing paint schemes. You got the red, you got the white, you got the blue. 09 of Holden Wheeler. 2 wins this season and leading that Rookie of the Year title at the moment. There's a reason why he's leading that stat, and another great run here tonight, already up front fighting for the lead. Looks like we had a car wreck. 88 of Austin Fassett. Just a quick replay here. Oh yeah, they lose it out of turn 2 there. No caution though, we stay green. But he did lose it at the back of the field there. Tough day just got worse for Mr. Fassett after being involved in the first caution here tonight. He's staying on the lead lap though. He was able to get it recovered and rolling again, but he's lost half the field already. Holden Wheeler going on the attack here, looking for the race lead on Matt Bands. This is the second contender that Matt Bands is going to have to defend against here early in stage number 1. And we're already halfway through the stage as they've got their target set on lap 35 here tonight. Holden Wheeler trying the high side this time. Bands doing his best Ryan Newman impression here tonight, making it very hard to pass him. Holden Wheeler gets way up on the top side here, barely fit a piece of paper between him and the wall. But he keeps it off the wall and keeps it rolling. He's got the lead now here tonight over Matt Bands. That's definitely the Kyle Larson line here in Charlotte, running right at the very, very cushion of the racetrack next to the wall. Usually you get that out of dirt track drivers. They like to run right at the edge of the racetrack, race surface. That's where you can find, it's crazy to think that you can find more speed up there when that's the longest way around the racetrack. But if you can master it, if you can nail it down, you can definitely make some strides and make some faster laps out of it running the high side. Glad to hear the shout out there from Devin Butchino. That's pretty neat. Glad you could tune in. Congratulations as a dad-to-be myself. It's around the corner for me. I've got a couple months left, and then I'll be father of one for the first time. So
The yellow flag is out.
caution flag here. 22, lap 22. Holden Wheeler leading the race into the caution here. And let us go ahead and dial up the butt kicker replay. See what happened here at lap 22. So it looks like this might involve two of our bubble drivers that are on the outside looking in from the chase. That is the 20 of Cale Thorpe and the 81 of Josh Hall, both of which need a good night here tonight to get themselves up into the chase. Cale Thorpe spinning it right there on the exit of turn 2, and Josh Hall nowhere to go. He slides up into Josh Hall, collecting him into the wall there. Tough break for Josh Hall, and Cale Thorpe just getting a little bit loose. Quick repairs, though, should get them back in the show here tonight. It's a long night of racing, 200 laps. It's just a mild blip on the radar here tonight. They'll be fighting to try and get back up there and get as many points in the bank. So under caution, and we'll have probably about 9 laps to go to the end of the stage. Then we'll have another caution here. But you got to imagine the drivers are definitely feeling the jitters here. Knowing how long this race is, the sudden stops here early in stage 1 definitely getting them kind of out of their head game, out of their head zone. And trying to get a good green flag run here it's not giving them much intel on what they could have for the second stage, which is going to be twice as long. And then, of course, the final stage, the last half of the race here tonight, is the longest run of them all. But if we're going to keep getting cautions like this, it might be broke up into 10 different stages of racing, so you never know. But with this SCSRA Cup Series, it's kind of the early race jitters are something I've noticed. It seems like once, it's almost like a diesel truck. You gotta get going before it really starts, pumping. And so these drivers, they'll get it figured out. They'll figure what not to do for the second half. Basically, the next 3 quarters of the race here tonight is kind of like I said earlier, the shakedown segment of the race. Get all the bugs shaken out, and then we get get into the racing for the later half of the race. Getting doubled up here. Baines has the inside, Wheeler has the outside. Gomes and Brent following in line with Brandon Anderson and Colin Hoffman. Lauren Vincent, Phil Ellis Jr., Christopher Bishop, and AJ Evangelista. At the moment, David Hartney is 10 laps down, so that starts to open up another conversation. And we'll look at the standings here one more time. David Hartney in 11th in the points, 242 points. That's going to open the door for Vince Brent. All he's got to do is get 9 points over David Hartney here today. And sadly for Hartney, that would mean he would be knocked out, and Vince Brent would be able to celebrate the fact that he is in the chase. But you still got Josh Hall, Cale Thorpe that could get some points here today as well. It's not set in stone, but at least at the moment for Vince Brent, Joe Irwin, it's looking not looking too bad for them to make something happen here tonight. Holden Wheeler gets a good jump there right out of the restart gate. Baines settles right back into second here, and Vince Brent on the move up to third. Also got the 00. That is Brandon Anderson now up into the top 5. Ryan Gomes in 4th. Oh, here we go. 09 running that high line again. And that seems to be kind of the difference maker at the moment. But it's risky. It's definitely a gamble. We're not in Vegas here tonight, so. Of course, Vegas is another one of those tracks where you can get that high line working. And that kind of segues into where the championship is this year. We've got 5 races in the chase. After tonight, we'll be heading to Richmond. There's no off weeks. We get right into it next week at Richmond for race number 1 of 5 in the chase, followed by Chicagoland, Auto Club, otherwise known as Fontana, Bristol, and the championship race is at Vegas. So Holden Wheeler showing that he's got a good setup for something even like Vegas, which will be where all roads lead to for that championship finale. Oh, and he's hitting the wall. He's getting a little too close for comfort there, but it's only 5 laps left in the stage. Someone's going to get some stage points here tonight. You're going to have 2 opportunities to do it. Ooh, they almost threw it 3 wide there. Here comes Matt Parasini. He has been the points man 4 stages this year, or this season, season 12. He has been outpointing them with stage points. And here he is at the end of a stage, showing up once again. That 24 machine, the Dynamite Chevrolet for Cypress Academy. There is bad blood between those 2 cars there, the 03 of Irwin and the 24 of Matt Parasini. And good thing they're racing clean, but it's I'm just the messenger. I don't want to spread nothing, but great racing at the front of the field no matter what. I just find it crazy. Even in the digital world, we get our own, microcosm of, personalities, emotions and all that, just like the real life racing circuits. I mean, there's very little difference between this and NASCAR other than the fact that you're not actually physically in the car. But when they get to racing, it's the same skill set, the same mindset, the same, for the most part, you know, the same drive. Everyone's there trying to win the race. And just like that, Joe Irwin goes around the 09 of Holden Wheeler to take the lead away. Matt Parasini follows in line. And with just a couple laps left in the stage here, it looks like the 88 of Austin Fassett lost it again. Here goes the 24, looking for a stage win here. Stage 1 of the night. Those two give a little bit of a bump. Bump again, bump again. Reminds me of back in the day when you see Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt kind of thing. Those two did not get along very well either back in the day. And you've got the 3 and the 24. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But the 24 is going to get by Joe Irwin there. Joe Irwin did nothing wrong there. Clean racing. Gave him a little bit of, you know, shaking and rattling, bumping the cage a little bit there. But that's just good, hard racing. And the 24 of Matt Parasini looks like he is going to prevail here for stage win in stage number 1. Not so quick, though. Here comes the 03 sending it in there. He's going to have a shot. The 24 gets loose. They're wrecking at the lead. No!
Yellow flag.
Stage over on a wreck with your leaders. I am just the neutral announcer. I knew of the bad blood between those two, and that's not going to help alleviate any of that. So don't want to publicize that or make it a bigger deal than it is. But that just sucks. Racing for the stage win. You're racing like it's the last lap of the race, but unfortunately not. It's still 170 laps to go here tonight. Well, that just shows you how hard they're fighting for every point out here. And Joe Irwin did not lift. He was going to try to get that stage win. The 24 got a little bit loose. It's hard to say that anyone's at fault there for that situation. And based on that, I think Joe Irwin is the stage winner, but I can't confirm nor deny that. 24, yeah, just gets loose. Overdrives it there. I think the pressure was on with Joe Irwin coming in deep over, you know, the outside there. Yeah, 24 got full-blown loose. I don't know if the 03 actually makes contact here or not. If you look, he drives it in deep. The 24 comes down. The 03 goes up. Oh, there might have been just the ever so slightest clip there of the left rear, well, the right rear. And at that point, yeah, they're both sideways. The 24 comes back up the track into the 03. Wow, just tough racing at the end of a stage there. No one wanted to give an inch. Man, I think Holden Wheeler actually technically wins the stage there. Right there. Holden, was it Holden or the 43? Yeah, no, that's just a sad way to end the stage, unfortunately, here. Don't really know what else to say about it. But we already got through the pit stops, got the replays in. We're going to get back and rolling here tonight. Joe Irwin all the way back, I think, into line for him. Matt Parasini will rejoin the track in 13th. So second stage is going to be underway here. I bet that's sacrilegious. I am drinking Mountain Dew while watching the equivalent of the Coke 300. I just dawned on me. It's like, yeah, I'm drinking a Mountain Dew and watching the Coke 300 here. So, go figure.
Green, green, green.
Reminded me of back in the day when I think it was the Pepsi 400 at Daytona, and Tony Stewart had some choice words about the race being sponsored by Pepsi after he won the race, and he basically requested that he had a Coca-Cola to drink in victory lane there. Those were quite the times back in the day of NASCAR and Cup Series. And Tony Stewart, the personality of personalities for the modern era that we've been through the last 20 years. Hard to forget about good old Tony Stewart. And it's been crazy that he made that transition to do drag racing now, and he's actually successful at that too. Pretty cool. I wasn't the biggest Tony Stewart fan. I was kind of in way a Tony Stewart fan because I was a Kevin Harvick fan growing up, and so Harvick racing for Tony Stewart. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of a Tony Stewart racing fan at that point. So, but only because him and Kevin Harvick were best buds, and it pretty neat. Harvick made it into the NASCAR Hall of Fame alongside what would have been his Richard Childress Racing teammate Jeff Burton at one point in time. Also a Roush racer. Racing at Roush, Jeff Burton had a lot of his race wins. And Biffle didn't get enough votes this year. He came in 5th. But that doesn't mean much. He can get in on another year. It sounds like he's got about 10 years of eligibility, and this was only year number 2 of those 10 years. So he could be on the ballot the next 8 years before getting locked into the Hall of Fame. Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, definitely deserving. Couldn't be happier for my childhood hero growing up. Greg Biffle was also my childhood hero growing up, and Casey Kane. That's probably dating me a little bit there, but being a Northwest guy, definitely had Biffle and Casey Kane memorabilia my entire life, my entire childhood, and still do. I have all the Budweiser and the Dodge, the Evernham number 9, Casey Kane cars, diecast, 1/24th scale, and a bunch of Biffle diecasts, 2 of which, the last 2 I had, both of them I got signed by Biffle at my home track here at Tri-Cities Raceway. And I was looking forward to maybe buying a 3rd diecast to get signed this year because Biffle said he was going to be back. He guaranteed it. He told the fans he finished 3rd in the ARCA West race there last year. And so this year, the ARCA West race at Tri-City Raceway is now known as the Greg Biffle Memorial. And I'm going to be there. It's not going to be the same without Biffle, but I've got my Biffle tribute stickers, and I'm hoping to maybe share that, that memento with other people that also had fond memories of a NASCAR driver like I did. Well, enough of my rambling here. Let's get into the action on track. Holden Wheeler, since the restarts, kind of drove away with it. Kind of felt like the second stage would be something like this. Get a feel, the first stage, and then a kind of a fuel run here. They're going to start figuring out what they can do to save fuel through stage 2. It's going to be a long run. There's probably going to be pit stops even if it stays green all the way, probably going to be at least one round of pit stops during this stage here. Matt Band's doing a solid job holding on to second there. Since the restart, Matt Parasine, no, Holden Wheeler
The yellow flag is
spins
out.
from the race lead. Just a rookie mistake there from the 09. Holden Wheeler losing it while leading the race. Brings out our, I want to say, our fourth caution here tonight. Well, that changes everything as Matt Bands now takes over sole possession of the race lead here heading into the first quarter of 300 miles here tonight. This is kind of an interesting break in the action. Might as well take the opportunity to pit now and get yourself tied up on fuel mileage for the rest of stage 2 here. As I was pondering, I think it's about 55, 60 laps on a run here, fuel run at Charlotte. So this would be the perfect opportunity. But because we're under caution, some drivers might be willing to swing track position and save the fuel under caution. Like right now, they can coast, they can turn off the fuel, let it, save fuel. So that's where it gets kind of convoluted. You could pit and know you'd be good to the finish of stage 2, but do you want to give up that almighty track position? Yep, from about 5th on back, you have Gomes come in, you have Colin Hoffman. Looks like Josh Hall, Phil Ellis Jr., and Joe Irwin also on pit road. If you're at the second half of the field, you might as well. So apparently, Holden Wheeler is going to maintain second place here after spinning from the lead. I'm not sure the logistics on that matter, but looks like he's getting second place back. Garrett Walden in third, Vince Brent in fourth, and Brandon Anderson in fifth, while majority of the other half of the field decided to pit here. Yeah, the season's been awesome. I have enjoyed every race this year. Thanks to Intensity Broadcasting for giving me the opportunity. Thanks to all the folks here at SCSRA putting on a great show every week. I am honored and privileged to be a part of the series. Thank you for giving me a chunk of your time, and at the same time, thank you for giving a chunk of your time as well. And I mean, it couldn't be done without a bunch of people. I'm stoked. I'm excited for the rest of this season and whatever else comes next year's. Season 13 and on. I'll be watching. I'll be tuned in. And only way is up with everything in life. That's all you can, keep the positive aspect of life. There's always an up trajectory. Don't let yourself get down, because you can always get out of those situations and get on up to better things. So here we are, getting started for the restart here after caution number 4. Lap 50 of 200. We're at the quarter mark of 300 miles here tonight. Okay, there we go. The 09 gets back to the back of the field there after spinning. And so he is going to restart in 10th. Those that pitted, you have Colin Hoffman in 11th, Joe Irwin in 12th, and Ryan Gomes in 13th. Drivers that are currently trapped a lap down, you got Cale Thorpe in 14th, Christopher Bishop in 15th, David Hartney and Austin Fassett. With Ian Davis, it seems not even turning a lap here tonight at the tail end of the field. Pace car is going to pull off here, and we're going to get back and rolling here at Charlotte. 50 laps left in stage number 2.
Green flag, green flag.
Baynes gets a really good start there, driving away from the 43 of Garrett Walden. And here comes Vince Brent up to second. Christopher Bishop on the apron there. Looks like he's getting off pit road. And look at that. AJ Evangelista up 12 spots here tonight in the 05 machine. Having a stout race here, qualifying deep and now into the top 5 for the first time here tonight. We also got Lauren Vincent in the picture there as Matt Parasini's creeped his way back up into the top 10. Holden Wheeler wasting no time picking off spots as quickly as he can as he's on the move. He's right now up to 8th, has his sights set on the 07 there of Lauren Vincent. All in the meanwhile, Matt Baynes up front leading. AJ Evangelista is about to lose 5th place here to Matt Parasini, your current points leader and the number 1 guy in favor for this regular season championship as it sits right now. He's got a 26-point lead over his teammate Garrett Walden there, and so pretty much just has to finish ahead of Garrett Walden or avoid DNFing here tonight. And the regular season championship may very well be on lock here for the 24 team. Of course, that is Cypress Academy in the 24. You also got Vince Brent in the 92. You got Garrett Walden in the 43. They've been minus Jesse Whittington this year. We saw him win the championship in season 11, and it's, you know, they're doing pretty darn good this year for Cypress Academy, putting together a good season. Vince Brent's missed a couple races, but he's on the outside right now, and based on where he's running in second, he's probably locked into the Chase 12 here as they run right now. Parasini looking to get back up to the front where he once was here tonight. He's got the 43, his teammate, and the 92 as well, both ahead of him there. Matt Baynes doing a good job holding the lead right now. And would you imagine, of all nights, the longest race on the calendar, and my internet's actually cooperating for a change? How crazy is that? Through 58 laps, we're already at about the 1 hour mark since the broadcast started. 20 minutes of practice and qualifying. So, yeah, give or take, we're probably at about 40 minutes in actual race time at the moment. But we're not even halfway yet. So this, you know, buckle in, folks. Grab some snacks, get some soda, maybe cook a bag of popcorn in the microwave, because it's going to be the long haul here tonight on Intensity Broadcasting. Which I prepared for this in my my other YouTube ventures. Definitely doing a lot of full-length sim races on NR 2003. I feel like I could definitely step up to the occasion for lengthy endurance races like this. Try to fill the empty air with some, you know, commentary, give you something to think about, something to ponder. And while all in the meanwhile, there's a race, breaking out behind it. So Holden Wheeler back up to 6th now. Matt Parasini in 3rd. Here he is looking to try and get around the 92 of Vince Brent. Parasini has got a rocket ship here tonight. That 24 from the very back all the way up to the front again. Even though, getting contacted there by Joe Irwin at the end of stage 1. Here he is again looking to try and take another stage lead here tonight of the 2 stages in tonight's Coke 300. And doing a stellar job at it as well. Still 38 laps left in stage here. Holden Wheeler back up into the top 5, getting up to 5th there. Holden Wheeler now taking over 4th place from Garrett Walden. Whoa, he slides up. Garrett defending, keeping the position away from Holden there, but Holden has the pace. I think he's going to find his way around the 43 here shortly. Looks like there's another battle a little bit further back here involving Lauren Vincent and the 29 of Phil Ellis Jr. Definitely a neat looking paint scheme on that 07. I like the variation of colors there with a little bit of blue, a little bit of white. And the purple numbers give it a poppin' look too. So that's pretty flashy paint scheme. I like the hardest thing when NASCAR decided to move the car number forward on these next gen race cars. Figuring out what to do with all that, free real estate. I definitely feel like iRacing, you really do get to experiment and do a lot of cool paint schemes. There's a lot of teams that are still, I think, not grasping the concept of making a paint scheme with the new. It's not even new anymore. It's hard. Ingrained. I mean, it's so commonplace now that it doesn't even bother me. It used to. Originally, I was so center number schemes all the way, and now it doesn't even faze me for the most part. But you can definitely tell there's a few teams in NASCAR that still haven't figured it out. I feel like that there's so much real estate to make something happen. And whether that's, looking at a sponsor and it's like, hey, there's 3 different logos for the sponsor. Let's maybe try to figure out one of those 3 logos that look better stretching across, the whole side of the car. Whereas before it used to be, pretty compact. Now you kind of stretch them out and make more of that sponsor presence on over the wheel well and part of the driver's side door. With this SCSRA Cup Series, though, there's really not a single bad paint scheme. All of these paint schemes look pretty baller. And 30 laps left in the stage here tonight. my own personal opinion, I feel like RFK has definitely knocked it out of the park every year with their paint scheme. Their paint scheme group, that whoever puts the paint schemes together for Roush, Fenway, Keselowski, they've got an eye for making some pretty dope looking paint schemes. And what was kind of weird at the end of Stewart Haas Racing, it felt like they were phoning it in right at the very end there too. I mean, you could just tell some of the paint schemes seemed uninspired. And then of course it came about that, you know, they were closing up shop anyways. And then it all kind of made sense to me, because it's like, oh, well, no wonder they were, you know, phoning it in on the paint schemes there the last several years, because, you know, they were going to shut down shop anyways, so. I feel like... The
yellow flag is out.
Oh, we got another caution here. And we're going to go ahead and dial up the butt kicker replay to see who brought out this caution here at lap 71, 72. Well, during a round of green flag pit stops, evidently, 92 of Vince Brent loses it on the exit of pit road, hits the bump there on the inside. That's an unusual one. Tough break for Vince Brent nonetheless, but it kind of helps him at the same time, as they made a green flag pit stop midway through the stage here. Just hits a bump on the racetrack, and that car got uneasy for him. Hayek definitely, I could see that. Yeah, no, definitely. Their paint schemes are, and I feel like they've got some interesting sponsors to draw from too. But yeah, you don't really remember any of the Hayek paint schemes, and I don't know if that's just because the 47's not often running up front, but and in a way that, you know, means they're not actually getting much TV time. But yeah, not really do you remember seeing many Hayek Motorsports paint schemes as of recent. If they're trying to be memorable, it's not really, they're not accomplishing that. So it looks like majority of the field pits here, and that'll get them all the way to the end of stage 2 now for sure. What's going to be interesting here with Vince Brent spinning after pitting, I don't know where it's going to shake him out, because I think he stayed on the lead lap, but he might have been a lap down when he spun there, so we'll see. Shows him, I think, on the lead lap in 12th place there. Okay, so they're at the tail end of the lead lap. I think they'll get the wave around this next time by. Joe Irwin spending some extra time on pit road here. It looks like he's going to beat the pace car off and stay on the lead lap. There you go. They wave him around. They're going to be right at the tail end of the lead lap here. That would be AJ Evangelista, Phil Ellis Jr., Cale Thorpe, and Vince Brent. Oh, wait. No, Cale Thorpe and Vince Brent both trapped a lap down, so the others got the wave round, but they are going to have to fight to get their lap back here. So it is a Cypress Academy 1-2 with Garrett Walden and Matt Parasini for the restart here at lap 75. And that is the battle for first and second in the points, although Garrett Walden does not have much of a chance here tonight to catch Perisini in terms of points, but racing for wins, those wins might help a lot in the grand scheme of things. So still battling for race wins no matter what the points conversation is. Garrett Walden gets a good start here, following in line right behind him. That's going to be Matt Bands in the 72. Matt Perisini comes down the racetrack in front of the 72, but the door was left open. Matt Bands jumping to second spot again. Holden Wheeler on the move up on the high side here. He's going to try to go around, make it maybe 3 wide for position. Not quite 3 wide there, but here he is on the move for third. Garrett Walden leads over Matt Bands. Holden Wheeler now back in the mix as well after spinning from the lead a little bit earlier at the beginning of this stage. How about Lauren Vincent, the 07 machine, having a great run up in the top 5 at the end of stage 2 here. Ryan Gomes in 6th, and even Josh Hall up to 7th. Look at that. The 07 going around the 43. Garrett Walden lost the lead, and Matt Baines leads with Holden Wheeler in second. And now Lauren Vincent up to third. Cypress Academy teammates now bookended the top 5, the back end of the top 5, that is. And you got Neon Racing, the 55 there. Ryan Gomes looking to mix it up with Cypress Academy. Josh Hall, also of Neon Racing. So that's NASCAR 06 total team control here tonight at Charlotte. Back in the day when EA Sports had the NASCAR franchise, that was a time. That was something. Of all the games, I feel like NASCAR 06 Total Team Control was probably it was maybe the decline, maybe the peak. NASCAR Heat was really good too. Of course, I'm partial to NASCAR Racing 2003, as I've been playing it for the last 15 years. And then got turned on to iRacing. Thanks to them, they were the original, the folks that broke apart to create iRacing, of course. Well, they have lost track with your lead trio here. Matt Perisini in 4th. It seems like maybe a storyline of tire degradation or something, as they are losing track to your race leaders. Lauren Vincent got a podium a couple, it might have been last week at Talladega if I remember right. Either that or the week before, but definitely riding the momentum train for Lauren Vincent after finally getting that first podium. And here tonight, showing he's got what it takes to be up in the podium once again here. We're just cruising towards the halfway point here tonight with 15 laps left to go in the stage. 15 laps basically to the halfway point. The other one I really digged was when Gran Turismo ended up with NASCAR on Gran Turismo 5. I got really into that. I would get online, and of course it was more simplistic. They didn't really have a big track selection. They only had a couple of the cars. I think I raced as like AJ Allmendinger in the 43 when he raced for Richard Petty Racing, Richard Petty Motorsports, and a couple other drivers they had basically laser printed into Gran Turismo 5. And those were some of the most fun times I had, was going out there and racing Daytona, and I think they might have had Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken. Just the two kind of like the most general NASCAR tracks you could throw in a game. But for Gran Turismo 5, I mean, it was kind of oddball. I mean, you wouldn't have expected NASCAR in Gran Turismo. But that year was pretty neat. And that, you know, as a NASCAR fan my whole life, that one, it felt like there was someone watching, you know, someone that was actually paying attention and wanted to speak to those individuals that were into that, you know, into NASCAR. So it felt pretty neat, pretty special. We got 12 laps left in the stage here. Holden Wheeler might be fighting for stage win. He's using that high side to his advantage. It's amazing that he hasn't hit the wall more here tonight as he keeps it up on the high side. And this is kind of a repeat from the onset of the race here tonight. The beginning of the race, we had these two fighting for the lead earlier, so it's cycled full circle here. Back to these two fight for the race win, race lead, but now at halfway. Joe Irwin's car must not be right, as he's all the way back in 12th place, more than likely at risk of going a lap down on a long green flag run here tonight. 10 laps left in the stage here. They're coming into turn 1. He's on the back stretch, so. And as you see in the points, he's right on the bubble. Vince Brent, Josh Hall, they're looking to try and get past him. The good thing for Joe Irwin is the fact that David Hartney is struggling here tonight, so he would pretty much gain that spot over David Hartney, and Hartney would be on the bubble in Bubble Land with Vince Brent and Josh Hall hanging out in the background waiting to strike. What a great battle for the race lead here. These two putting on a show at the front of the field. They're running almost identical laps each time. 30.67, 30.67 this last lap for both Holden and Matt. Oops. Holden Wheeler internet blip there. He actually lost a race this year on a latency issue where it kicked him out of the race as he was leading the dang thing. And we are closing in on 150 miles, which during the regular season so far this year, 150 miles was full distance on a couple races, 150 to 200, but we're going twice that here tonight with 300 miles. And of all the nights you would not want to have internet issues, it would of course be on the night of the longest race. So Holden Wheeler is still blipping, but he's staying out there and it's not kicked him out. So that's the good news. The bad news is for the other drivers on track, if he starts blipping, it's often hard to calculate where to go on the racetrack and not make contact with a car that's blipping on and off. Well, earlier, stage 1, I felt like Garrett Walden might have won that as he came across the line after the wreck. But we'll have a more definitive stage 2 winner here, as it's either going to be Matt Baines or Holden Wheeler. They've got a good run here with just a handful of laps left to determine stage winner in number 2. Lap traffic ahead, that is Joe Irwin, at risk of going a lap down, but he's going to be saved by the bell. We only have 2 laps left in the stage. Vince Brent, 13th, 1 lap down, should get the lucky dog at the stage break here. Just a couple laps left to go. Matt Baines has closed the gap up on Matt Baines. The battle for the stage win only getting more intense here as the drivers know when that stage end is coming. Holden Wheeler clips the wall, running the high line again. Giving himself a little bit of a Charlotte stripe here tonight. We're not at Darlington, but you can still get, I guess, a Charlotte stripe of honor. Wear that with pride, because that means you've been out there laying it on the line. But it doesn't look like Holden Wheeler is going to close that gap and make a pass for the race lead. Matt Baines is going to hold off, and he's going to end up getting some bonus points here tonight, taking stage number 2 and putting it in his pocket.
Caution, yellow flag.
There you have it, Matt Baines from Louisville, Kentucky. Stage 2 winner here in tonight's 300-mile affair. Well, we've got halfway through the race, 150 miles in the books, 150 miles to go. Short of overtime if we need it. But Matt Baines has definitely been a contender all night here. Has led a lot of laps. Even had Holden Wheeler drop to the back and move through the field to get in the top 2 spots again here. But the entire strategy changes for this final stage of the race. 100 laps is going to be a long one. If we get some cautions to help break it up, that might give these drivers a shot at pitting under caution rather than under green flag circumstances. But if this thing stays green, it's gonna get kind of topsy-turvy with strategy calls as drivers try to figure out the right time to make those pit stops and how long to stay out. Just like that, Vince Brent is the lucky dog, as we figured. Well, after pit stops, doesn't look like much has changed. Matt Bands, Holden Wheeler, Lauren Vincent, your top three, followed by Brandon Anderson and Ryan Gomes for your top five. Vince Brent back on the lead lap. That leaves us with 4 cars trapped a lap down here. Cale Thorpe, Christopher Bishop, David Hartney, and Austin Fassett. Fassett actually out of the race here. David Hartney is 12 laps down. Getting doubled up for the restart here. Restarting on the inside line, you're going to have Holden Wheeler, Matt Bands on the outside. A little bit of a tap there on the 72. Don't know what that was about. Getting ready to roll for the second half of tonight's race here at Charlotte. "13 cars on the lead lap, all of which still alive and fighting for the race win here tonight."
Green flag, green
We're
flag.
back and rolling. 72 gets a good start on the high side. 09 didn't sleep on the light, but got beat there. 72 takes over the top spot. 00. Brandon Anderson in third now, as Matt Persini going around the high side of Lauren Vincent. Kind of an interesting strategy here. Do you race as hard as you can and hope for cautions, or do you try to conserve your stuff for the last 100 laps of tonight's race? Either strategy, I mean, it's a strategy call no matter what. Maybe if you're at the front, you're just going to go, full throttle all the way to the finish and try to get as much as you can. But if you're someone in the background, maybe save your stuff, maybe wait for the race coming, to come to you rather than chase the race at this moment. So it's always interesting to see in these long, lengthy endurance races what kind of strategies do unfold. Matt Bands only got one objective, and that's to be up front leading laps here tonight. Holden Wheeler seems to have that same main objective, as he's been up front fighting. He had the lead and he wants it back after making a unusual mistake from the race lead, spinning out on his own. It seems he's learned from that mistake and he's back and fighting for the race lead, but 72 definitely not making it easy to get past him. And as the track starts to settle into darkness around parts of the track, as we run dusk to dawn, day to night, dawn to dusk, is it? I goofed that one up. The transition definitely may throw these drivers a bit of a curveball, though, as setups do tend to change a little bit. The track cools down, but the racing heats up. Matt Parasini moves on up into third place, getting around Brandon Anderson there. Ryan Gomes looking to try and get around the 07 of Lauren Vincent as well. So there's a couple battles, drivers that are making moves. Joe Irwin back up to 7th here as he's trying to pick up where he left off. As they run right now, Lauren Vincent has gained the most spots here tonight at +8. Right ahead of him, Brandon Anderson has also gained 7 spots here tonight. So a couple drivers that qualified deep, working their way up to the front. Got to also give Holden Wheeler credit for making up 5 spots from qualifying. Matt Bands, on the other hand, from pole position here tonight, he's been top of the running order pretty much all night. Here's Matt Parasini looking to try and take 2nd place back. We could have the Matt and Matt show battle at the front of the field. Joe Irwin picks up a spot, moving into 6th place there, getting around Ryan Gomes. Just when we thought Ryan Gomes was going to try to get around Lauren Vincent, here comes Joe Irwin. And there we go, Matt Parasini looking on the inside there of Holden Wheeler, trying to take over 2nd spot. Side by side, not giving an inch though. Holden Wheeler's fighting tooth and nail for that position. As is Matt Parasini, also fighting tooth and nail for that 2nd position. And there you have it. Matt Parasini up to 2nd now, has his sights set on Matt Bands, the race leader. Since the restart, Vince Brent with the wave around, he's only been able to gain 2 spots here into 11th. He's got AJ Evangelista ahead of him. Garrett Walden in 9th. They got Neon Racing teammates of Josh Hall and Ryan Gomes. Joe Irwin back up to 6th. Lauren Vincent in 5th. Brandon Anderson in 4th. Colton Wheeler in 3rd. But Bands has been one tough racer to beat here tonight, leading a lot of laps through the first 120. Lauren Vincent gets up to 4th. Good battle brewing there. I guess I missed that battle. Gets around the 00 of Brandon Anderson. And so this may be one of those scenarios where Lauren Vincent may be trying to make the race get to him instead of the race get away from him. Making some moves, or maybe some of the other drivers letting off the throttle, saving their stuff. It's hard to tell. Definitely a lot of variations in strategies at the moment. Lauren Vincent seems to have it set on kill. Joe Irwin back up to 5th here, back in the top 5 after a long stint away from the top 5 here tonight. And this might just be that long green flag run that the doctor ordered up here tonight that really gets a good variation of strategies to unfold here. Well, the spreading out could be defined by a few different things, but definitely probably has a lot to do with fuel conservation, tire management here in this long green flag run at the end stage here tonight. Matt Parasini, though, closing that gap up on Matt Bands. Bands has been leading this thing dominantly here tonight. Matt Parasini had the lead at one point, almost won stage one before getting spun by Joe Irwin, battling for that stage win right at the beginning of the night. Both of them were able to continue on. Joe Irwin, it's taken a little bit longer to get back and going. But for Matt Parasini, he was back up here fighting for stage two win as well. Still solid 13 cars on the lead lap here tonight. 4 cars trapped laps down. Here comes Matt Parasini. He is flirting with disaster at the front here. Good run on the inside. 72 clips the wall. 24 has a good run down the backstretch. Sticks it down low. Makes the inside move here side by side through the turn. And he's going to take over the top spot here on lap 132. Good run from the 24 of Matt Parasini. Big bounce back. Great run here. And that's a power move, honestly. Being the overall points leader as he is right now, that's a statement move to take the race lead and try to set himself up for a good run at the end of the night here. There's no question, like I was saying, 26-point gap between him and Garrett Walden. I feel like the only way it would have been possible is if Garrett Walden won the race, got max bonus points, and Matt Parasini failed to finish. Well, it's getting past the realm of that even being a possibility now, since we've had a couple drivers retire out. And bonus points in form of stage and laps led, I feel like Matt Parasini's added on here tonight already. But it's not, you know, the paint hasn't dried yet. We're still making the painting, trying to figure out who is confirmed regular season champion. But that paint, it's been drying for about 24 hours, so it's getting close to dry. And the 24 of Matt Parasini leading laps here in the final stage. Still 66 laps to go. A lot of racing. A lot could happen. This is about the fuel window. If they obviously decided to pit now, they could maybe make it to the finish. But that would be pushing it. So you want to stretch it probably to about lap 150 here. Cut it down the middle. That's typically what the real NASCAR race does with the Coke 600 and their 4 stages. You'll break it, you know, each 100 lap stage. They usually come and pit on lap 50. It's weird how that happened. I don't know. It seems to me, I'm a numbers guy, so it's nice, neat, square numbers. And because of the Coke 600, all 100 lap stages, they all break it right down the middle. It kind of changes the whole feel of the Coke 600. I miss prior to stage racing. Stage racing isn't all that bad. It gives us commercial breaks where there should be a better commercial break here and there. So I get why they did it. But you'll never see that race go caution free ever again. Imagine 500 laps at Bristol without a caution, without any stop in the action. They'd be dog tired after a 500 lap race at Bristol, and no wrecks, amazingly, would be crazy if that happened even. I think it came closer. If it has happened once before, it was probably the quickest race in NASCAR history. I do have a little fun fact about a Bristol race back in the day. I was not alive to see this race, but I had found it and I thought it was neat. So there is a NASCAR driver by the name of Friday Hassler, and he had never won a NASCAR Cup race in his career. But this story is where it gets interesting. Is he subbed for a driver at a race that actually he ended up winning that race in Bristol, believe it or not. At the 1971 Volunteer 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway, Hassler was a relief driver for race winner Charlie Glotzback. It was not an official win for Hassler, and it's one of only 3 instances when 2 drivers drove the winning car in a NASCAR Premier Series race. And I think that there was at least one other time when Connor Zillage had his broken collarbone and had Parker Kligerman, I believe, fill in for him. He started the race at Daytona. Kligerman filled in and won the race, so Kligerman never got credited with the race win per the rule book. And that's kind of what Friday Hassler ended up doing back in 1971 at Bristol. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it was. I was remembering right. There was that. It was like lingering in the back of my brain. So, more detail on that Bristol race. Since Glotzback qualified for the race, he received credit for what would become his final win in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. This race was completely clean, with no yellow or red flags given out by NASCAR authorities. While the lead was exchanged 7 times in the race, the average speed of the race was clocked at a mere 101 miles per hour at Bristol. A track record that would last 53 years until the 2024 500, held on September 21st, 2024, where Kyle Larson broke it, even though there were 5 caution periods in the race. Well, we're under caution here tonight for, I've lost track, probably the 7th time. And let us dial up the butt kicker replay here and see what brought us under caution here. Whoops. So right here we got Garrett Walden and Joe Irwin. Garrett Walden's on the inside there, Joe Irwin on the high side, both in plain white cars for the most part. Garrett Walden just kind of running up the track into him there, takes out Joe Irwin. Hard to say if that was intentional. I don't want to place blame, of course, but Joe Irwin goes for a bit of a ride there, spinning down into the inside wall. Let's see another angle here real quick. And watch it at full pace. Man, it's tough to say. Both drivers going for the same piece of real estate there. Wow. Wow. So we're under caution, and that gives us that window for everyone to pit. Looks like we just missed the pit stops here. Matt Bands comes back out with the race lead, followed by Holden Wheeler, Matt Parasini, Lauren Vincent, and Vince Brent. Garrett Walden in 6th, AJ Evangelista 7th, Brandon Anderson, Ryan Gomes, Colin Hoffman. That's your top 10. And then the bubble spot, our Chase bubble drivers, all in the bottom segment there, 11th, 12th, and 13th. You got Josh Hall, Joe Irwin, and Cale Thorpe. So yeah, those were that was a fun fact from Bristol back in 1971, and only one of those rare instances where he actually had a driver swap out. And the crazy part is Friday Hassler never won a race in his career. But he filled in for a driver that had started the race and won that race for him. Just kind of mind-boggling, honestly. But it then it happened again just last year at Daytona. You got to give credit to Connor Zilic for the grit and determination to keep racing with the broken collarbone like he did, or at least through the surgery and repair of said collarbone. And still, it was so heartbreaking to see him come up second in the championship finale in the then Xfinity Series at that time. Really hoping to see Connor Zilic get some good runs here in the second half of the NASCAR Cup Series. Looked pretty good at Dover, I must say. That was even though it was the All-Star race, which different perspective of racing, each driver approaches it a little differently. At least he had a good run there and looked stout. Alrighty, we're getting back and rolling here though with the SCSRA Cup Series as it's turned to nearly complete dark. Lights are coming on the racetrack, and we're rolling for the last quarter of the race here tonight. Matt Bands has the lead over Holden Wheeler. We'll see if the drivers have the right setup in the car for the late night. Under the lights. Push to the finish here. Vince Brent making up some moves there on the inside. You also got the 05 of AJ Evangelista. Some great battles here in the top 10. Joe Irwin at the tail end of this line in 9th. All cars within about a second and a half of each other here. Good run here from Matt Parasini trying to catch up to Holden Wheeler. And you got about a 3-car breakaway here with your leaders. Matt Bands, Holden Wheeler, and Matt Parasini. Vince Brent's got a little bit of work to do to catch up to them. There he goes, side by side for second place. Matt Parasini on the move. Oh! Holden Wheeler gets into the wall, and that's going to give up second position there. Matt Parasini is going to be able to close the door. Holden Wheeler, though, still fighting back on the outside. And now we got the Matt doubled battle here. Matt Bands and Matt Parasini. Definitely two of the best cars here tonight. We've got the three best cars at the front of the field here. All of them been up front, leading laps, putting on a show. There we go, battle for the race lead. Matt Bands defending, but Matt Parasini is attacking. 49 laps left in the books here. Truly at the final quarter mark of tonight's race. Bands side by side down the backstretch. Parasini the low side has a nose on the 72. Those two Chevrolets running almost identical laps there. Side by side all the way around the racetrack. And they're going to do it again. They're going to try to stay side by side for 2 consecutive laps here. Band's not letting that 24 get away with it, as now he's got an edge, and now the 72's got an edge. Ebb and flow, the battles. Some smoke out of the leader as he clipped the wall there. But Band's able to close the window for now on Parasini. Whoops, Brandon Anderson dropped out of the race. He's back to 15th now. Must have had a mistake, or he pitted. It looks like Brandon Anderson jumped to the pits. During that segment there, the lead actually, technically, without considering, a lead change at the start-finish line, obviously, it swapped hands between Parasini and Bands 8 times. Obviously 4 for each driver as they, just slightly put their nose ahead of each other at little brief moments in time. And that's why it's not credited as an official lead change. But I'm just saying lead changes during the lap, the transition of a lap there, they had swapped lead position 8 times between the 2 of them. Stellar racing here tonight at Charlotte, giving us all something to be excited about for the chase ahead, which with Richmond next week, that should be a good race. Chicagoland, kind of in the same vein of Charlotte, a 1.5-mile style track, should be interesting. Fontana, though, that's going to be the game changer. You're going to have some drivers that maybe don't have Fontana figured out, otherwise known as Auto Club Speedway. It's going to be interesting to see who may be a surprise candidate to win there in a couple weeks' time. Then Bristol, man, being the penultimate race of the season at Bristol, there might be a lot of storylines rolling into Bristol where drivers need points, need a win, and the conversation starts to, change towards the season finale at Las Vegas. So with Bristol and Vegas, closing out the season, that's definitely probably saving the best 2 for last. Well, the broadcast is now just past the 2-hour mark here tonight. Thanks for those that have soldiered along with us following the race in action here tonight. Been treated to some excellent racing from the stars of the SCSRA Tammy Butchino Dev Sports Cards Memorial Cup Series. I gotta butcher that one too. The Tammy Butchino Memorial SCSRA Dev Sports Cards Cup Series. There we go. That's better. Matt Baines, Matt Parasini, Holden Wheeler, your top 3. Vince Brent's right there, though. Look at that. He's going to try to get around Holden Wheeler for 3rd place. On the move, Vince Brent wants to get into the chase here tonight. Last chance to make the chase. Holden Wheeler keeps him at bay for now, but that 92 looking stout. Also impressed with the run here tonight from AJ Evangelista. Up a grand total of 12 spots here. Vince Brent qualified 4th, and he's maintained a top 5 run here tonight. But AJ Evangelista, your biggest gainer, up 12 spots in the Arby's. Number 05 Chevrolet. I feel like we've had this Matt doubled running order before, except in the inverse. Usually it's Matt Parasini leading over Matt Bands. And so Matt Bands must have had Charlotte circled on his calendar, because this track seems to suit him very well. And even on top of that, he's holding off your points leader, Matt Parasini, and doing it demandingly as well, keeping that 24 at bay, defending on his attacks at the lead, all in the meanwhile trying to save himself up for this final run at the end of the night. And it's going to be 46 laps left to go, or 36 laps left to go. They ran identical laps last lap, 30.42 and a 30.43. Matt Parasini closes that gap up a little bit. A 30.41 for Parasini and a 30.45 for Bands. And it's kind of seemingly at this point that the drivers kind of have what they've got for the finish of tonight's race. Unless we get some late race cautions to help stack things back up, that could put a spiral, a wrinkle in the plans for some of your leaders here tonight. Some folks could decide to pit, others could decide to stay out. For Matt and Matt, they would love to see this race stay green all the way to the checkered flag. But maybe for someone like Holden Wheeler, they might be hoping for a caution here to help get things stacked back up. And even more so, maybe someone from 6th on back could decide to take tires under caution and really shake things up here. Get back out there and turn qualifying laps at the end of the race, trying to catch the race leader. Identical laps yet again, a 30.42 for both of them. So it's definitely Matt doubled here tonight, as they're almost a carbon copy of each other on the racetrack. There's a crash, but no caution. Joe Irwin right at the end of the race here. Pulls it on the apron and parks it, it looks like. So 30 laps left to go. With Joe Irwin parking it here, he might fall back and lose some very, very precious points. Man, David Hartney could outpoint Joe Irwin here. This actually turns into a conversation about that final point from earlier. 1 point Hartney over Joe Irwin. Well, David Hartney is 12 laps down, and he's still out there running. He's out there doing it for the biff. And there's still plenty of laps left. 12 laps. All he has to do is run ahead of Joe Irwin here, who is off the track and out of the race more than likely. And that would be your 12th place driver, the final entry into the chase more than likely, because I don't think they were both going to fall out. It was pretty much looking like one or the other. And David Hartney had fallen off the radar here tonight. So David Hartney has... So it looks like at the moment Vince Brent would be the one to get around Joe Irwin. And the 81 of Josh Hall still running in 10th. But he ain't going to gain enough points to get past David Hartney here, as he's going to need at least 20 points to comfortably pass the 16. So just like that, David Hartney might be in the chase, and Joe Irwin could be out. And we got a battle for the race lead as soon as I started skimming through the field there. Matt Bands, Matt Pericini side by side. We saw this earlier. Bands wouldn't let him by, but now Pericini gets the top spot with 26 laps left to go. Bands ain't going to give up, though. He's going to fight back. Vince Brent moves up to third, getting around Holden Wheeler. So definitely, I feel like the tires are starting to factor in a little bit here. Some of the drivers that maybe saved what they had to try and fight for the race win at the end here. Matt Bands must have used his stuff up a little bit, and Pericini pounced on the race lead. Holden Wheeler as well, struggling at the long end of the run. Man, that's crazy. That's cool for David Hartney if he's able to make the chase on a night where he's 12 laps down. Not his preferred way to make it, but a little bit of luck, a little bit of perseverance. That's why you don't park it. If you're still out there fighting for every lap, you never know what could happen. Now Matt Pericini is checking out. Looks like Matt Banzo is going to pit. Holden Wheeler pits. So some of these drivers have to pit here at the end. And I guarantee you Matt Pericini is going to have to pit as well. Must have been they just didn't have enough to make it all the way. Pericini, though, is going to stay out a little bit longer here. It is within the realm of possibility if you can meet some certain numbers that you could actually get the win here. I don't know. They had about 45 laps, 50 laps left to go when they last pitted. So this is almost a perfect window, but they must be just slightly worried. And instead of, forcing the issue, decide to pit right in the middle of the run here to try and pull off the contrary. 20 laps to go. Matt Pericini leads over AJ Evangelista, Lauren Vincent, and Josh Hall. Josh Hall, all of a sudden, that would put a bit of a damper on David Hartney. If Josh Hall were to get enough points here tonight, he would work himself into the top 12 in the chase. David Hartney still has not gotten past Joe Irwin. There, he just gets by Joe Irwin as I mentioned it. You can see now Hartney 13 laps down in 14th, but he got past Joe Irwin, putting him back to 15th. Your race leader pitting now. Matt Pericini comes down with 20 laps to go. AJ Evangelista and Lauren Vincent staying out, though, stretching it a little bit longer. As is Josh Hall, who's staying out a little bit longer as well. 1, 2, 3. It's a fuel mileage game. I remember a race here at Charlotte probably about 15 years ago now. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. ran out of gas on the last lap, and it was my guy, Kevin Harvick, coming around to win the Coca-Cola 600 that year. I feel like that was 2014, maybe 2015-ish, but it's been a while. And these two drivers, they may have saved up a little bit extra, and maybe it's going to be a quick gas and go when they come down for their pit stop here, and they're going to try to keep the advantage. Looks like Matt Pericini maintains the lead lap, so if we do get a caution here, doesn't have to worry about doing a wave round or anything. He's going to be on the lead lap right at the tail end of it. No, actually, my bad. AJ Evangelista is ahead of him, but AJ's pitting. Lauren Vincent's going to stay out and inherit the race lead with 17 laps to go. At this point, you've kind of made your bed. You just gotta lay in it. It might not be the winning strategy, but it's definitely something off strategy that puts you in a different bracket to try and get the job done. As for Lauren Vincent, he's probably had it dialed back for the last several laps. Probably for this whole last stage, just had it dialed down, trying to conserve his stuff while your leaders were out front burning the fuel. And we'll see if he can pull off the miracle here. This should show you a good idea of where he's at in fuel usage. He's still burning through a lot of fuel here. Even in the corner, he's at about 80% throttle. You look in the bottom right-hand corner. Now he's at full throttle again down the backstretch. I don't see this actually panning out. But there he is in the corner, back down to about 80% throttle. This actually is a better perspective. So maybe our ticker does not give us the best telemetry. He's in the throttle there. If you listen here in the corner, off the throttle completely. He's back into it again right at the kind of the apex of the corner there. I wish we could actually see the fuel numbers on the gauge there on the in-car cam. Doesn't look like we actually have that that luxury in iRacing, but it would be cool. Get an idea of just how close he is to the barren edge of running out of fuel here. Doesn't sound like he's saving a whole lot. But Lauren Vincent, Josh Hall in second. This could be a pivotal moment for the championship chase. Josh Hall, though, he's about to get passed over by Matt Pericini, who's on fresh tires, full tank of gas. But the advantage that Lauren Vincent has, he has a full 25-second lead over Matt Pericini. So he could simply just coast to the finish line here tonight with 10 laps right around the corner here. You gotta love it. Turned into a fuel mileage race when you least expected it. I had no clue that we were actually, I thought we were gonna be good to go, but there are some drivers that just did not meet their fuel numbers here tonight, even when we had the caution with 50 laps to go, which should have put them, you know, in a enough of a window to make it to the finish. At this point, Lauren Vincent ain't gonna pull down pit road. He's gonna run out of fuel trying to get this win. Almost guarantee it. Well, now you can count the laps on 2 hands here tonight. For him, he's just hoping, praying there's no caution. Caution would erase any opportunity he has here tonight to get the job done. Garrett Walden, 4th place, gets his lap back, getting around the 07 here. Lauren Vincent now leads over Matt Parasini a full 28.4 seconds as Parasini was able to get around Josh Hall there. And believe it or not, Josh Hall almost, and he's got it. He could not pull it off. The fuel numbers were just too hard to obtain here tonight. Lauren Vincent pulls it down pit road right at the end here. I was hoping that we could see it pay off, but quick gas and go. He could still come back out here. It's got to be quick, though. He's got to get right on it, and he's got to get to the racetrack ASAP here. He might be able to convert this to a podium finish, though, if he's lucky. No, not quite. Everyone else is back on track, though, and they're getting right around him. It was worth a shot. And no big advantage now because he's obviously on older tires and almost no advantage whatsoever. Josh Hall, though, he's going to just stretch it and stretch it and stretch it until the very end here. I'm surprised Lauren Vincent was keeping the throttle in as hard as he was. If you look at the telemetry here on Josh Hall, he's barely getting up to 100%, and then he's like all the way down to 25% throttle in the corners. So, but it's Matt Parasini up front. It is Cypress Academy 1-2 with Garrett Walden in second. Very distant second there. Matt Bands in third with Holden Wheeler and Vince Brent holding on to the top 5 at the moment. Josh Hall might be able to convert a top 10 run here tonight, even after stretching the fuel mileage. Lauren Vincent looking to maybe maintain a 7th. $11 cars on the lead lap left with 5 laps to go. David Hartney did get around Joe Irwin and may be your 12th driver in the chase. We'll have to wait and see. Garrett Walden a full 1.25 seconds back of his teammate, Parasini. It went from being Matt doubled at the front of the field to Cypress Academy double leading the field here. Vince Brent gets up to 4th. They may try to go for a 1-2-3 at the end of the night here. Vince Brent loses the ground. He got there to Holden Wheeler, though. They're still duking it out. They've got a ways to go before they catch Matt Bands. But so far, no drama at the lead here. Parasini just kind of cruising. Garrett Walden closes that gap a little bit, but there's not enough laps in the night for him to keep at that pace and actually close in on the lead altogether. 0.85 down the backstretch. Parasini's got still a 0.8 second gap lead over his teammate. White flag waves, 1 more lap to go. It's shrunk a little bit more, but not by much. Garrett Walden is going to need a Hail Mary to get to the front. Matt Parasini, though, doing what Matt Parasini does best, leading these races, doing great things during the stages, and here he is closing it out at the end of the night. Your Coke 300 race winner in Season 12 of the SCSRA, the Tammy Butchino Memorial Cup Series here. Dev Sports Cards Cup Series winner tonight, Matt Parasini. And he earned that one tonight. It was a hard-fought battle. Him and Matt Parasini, Matt Bayens. It's a long night for me too. I'm a sleepy individual, but we made it. 2 hours, 25 minutes duration to this point, and Matt Parasini gets the job done. It's a late night on the East Coast too, and much celebration to be had here with your podium finishers. Probably ready for a nice, long, good night's rest after winning here tonight in Charlotte. And that right there is your regular season champ, Matt Parasini. Season 12 regular season champion. 3 wins to his name. This season has been one of statements made by the 24 team. They have been on it here. They had to miss a race, but everyone gets a throwaway race. Even though he missed a race, I think maybe 2 races, it has not slowed him down. And he's putting on a clinic so far this season. Getting that 24 Dynamite Chevrolet for Cypress Academy to victory lane. Credit to Matt Banzo on a solid run here tonight. Pole position, led a bunch of laps, but just came up short by the end of it here tonight. And that was a long night here. We will go ahead and get things squared away here tonight in the broadcast. There is your finishing results here tonight. Parasini the winner. Walden, Bands, Wheeler, and Brent. That's your top 5. Lauren Vincent, Evangelista, Ryan Gomes, Josh Hall, and Cale Thorpe. Followed by Colin Hoffman, Phil Ellis Jr., Christopher Bishop, David Hartney, Joe Irwin. With Brandon Anderson, Austin Fassett, and Ian Davis rounding out the field here tonight. We are going to go ahead and interview your podium finishers here this evening, starting with 3rd place on the night. And it's none other than your pole setter, led a bunch of laps here tonight, Matt Bands. This is Jacob in the booth. Do you copy, Matt?
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations on a podium here tonight in Charlotte. Definitely one of the longest races on the season, 300 miles of competition here. Had the pole position, led a bunch of laps. What was missing here tonight to get you that win?
You know, just self-inflicted, I think. That last pit stop, I wanted to really take 2. I forgot that I had all 4 checked, and then I barely slid through. I entered slow, too, so I kind of just botched the whole thing. But, I mean, it, just self-inflicted. But other than that, I mean, I had probably the best car I think I've ever had in the Next Gen Series. In the time that I've been in the league, I think that was probably the best car I've ever had.
Well, it was a great night. It was definitely a statement race. I mean, you have nothing to be ashamed about. That was a great run. 3rd place here. Pole position, led a bunch of laps. I feel like that helps kind of set up the storyline for the chase with you. How you feeling with the 5 races in the chase? Which tracks do you have circled? Which are your favorite that you're going to be seeing in the next 5 weeks?
Well, not entirely going to be a fan of Richmond. I think, I want to say it was last season or the season before. I didn't do too hot there, but Chicagoland, I know that I'm decent at that. Auto Club, I know I'm very, very confident there. Bristol, not very. It's it's going to be tight. It's going to any minor damage there, you're gonna go several laps down. It's gonna be one of those survival races, and obviously Las Vegas, I feel pretty confident. Especially at a mile and a half, so I feel like I can put some runs together and hopefully close it out.
Heck yeah. No, great night here. Charlotte did not disappoint. We got some great racing in. Everyone put on an excellent show here. So, any friends, family, sponsors you want to thank at the end of the evening here?
Yeah, I want to start with my family and my mom, dad, sister. They're always tuning in and watching, and want to thank my lovely partner. And he was wishing me good luck before the race, and telling me I'm gonna do good and all that. And then want to thank the team. Sentinel. Uh, Unfortunately, Sean couldn't be here, but me and Holden told him we would hunker down and get it done, and you know we we did really really good tonight as a team, and I'm really thankful for that. And I want to thank you and the booth and all that for putting it on. So just want to thank you guys.
No, it's awesome. I'm excited for this chase. I'm wishing the best for everyone. Hopefully, you have a great chase here as well, and hopefully, we hear from you some more. And enjoy this weekend, your holiday weekend, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, that was third place, Matt Bans. We're going to go ahead and dial up second place on the evening. Garrett Walden definitely had kind of a back and forth day, but came out on point for a second place finish. This is Jacob in the booth. Do you copy, Garrett? It's been a long night.
Yes, sir. Got a copy.
Well, how about it here tonight? It was quite the run. There was a lot of strategies, a lot of miles in the books here tonight, and you came out in second, which you didn't really have the car to run up front all night, but it just kind of worked out that way for you. Kind of walk us through it.
Uh, I mean, I think I had the raw speed that they did up front, but I did a lot of tire saving tonight, kind of conserving, what I had, and was hoping we'd have some more long runs, but kind of didn't. So I just conserved everything I had, and that last stint, I came in, took two with about 35 to go, knowing everyone else still had to pit, and kind of saved from there and was able to maintain my position. As I was hoping to catch Matt, but just kind of ran out of time, and I think I kind of ran out of tire trying to catch him. So all in all, it's a good race tonight. I feel good.
Well, and yeah, it was a 1-2 finish for the team there, and it sets you guys up 1-2 in the championship, rolling into the chase. How you feeling for the chase coming up here?
I'm feeling pretty solid. I think big time. The big thing for me is consistency. I kind of, with the chase now being back in effect, I'm kind of doing like 2003 Matt Kenseth and just being consistent, top 10, top 5 every race. Don't have to win everything, but getting up there, good stage points, and just being consistent. I feel like that's going to be the best thing for me to do, just to have a chance at the championship.
Do you have a favorite track here in the chase amongst the 5 that we got going?
I'd have to say between the 5 of the, that's a tough one. I like Auto Club, pretty good there, and I like Vegas, Richmond. I'm okay at Chicagoland. Haven't really ran the next gen at Chicagoland a lot, so that's gonna be an interesting thing just to check out. But I think definitely Auto Club for sure is a favorite of mine. So I think I'll be all right there.
Well, that kind of gives me insight into Chicagoland. It might be a kind of a wild card race because obviously most leagues have probably dropped Chicagoland off the map, and so with NASCAR bringing it back, some basically new opportunities to put Chicagoland on schedules again. So it'll be exciting to see how that race turns out. But other than that, friends, family, sponsors, we want to thank here tonight.
Big shout out to Cypress Academy. Me and Matt won 2, and then Vince down in P5. He came back for P5, and Lauren in P6. So 1, 2, 5, and 6 tonight. Not a bad night for the team. Shout out to the league and everybody in it. it was some hard racing tonight, but it was some good racing. Um, let's see, just trying to think of who else, but shout out to Travis Bennett and Joe Irwin. I know he left, but we got some contact there. No hard feelings to Joe, but it was a good night, and I'm ready to go to bed.
You and me both. And yeah, enjoy the second place finish. Good luck in the chase, and we'll catch you in the next one.
All right, yes, sir.
Now, that was second place Garrett Walden. We are going to go ahead and hop over to your race winner on the evening, 24 of Matt Parasini. Matt, this is Jacob in the booth. Do you copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, congratulations on the win. You kind of put a nice, neat little ribbon on the cake for the regular season, claiming regular season championship here, and earned this one here tonight. Definitely had to battle. There was some great battles between you and Matt Bands and a few other drivers up at the front of the field here tonight. Kind of walk us through it. How did you feel all night? What was the car doing for you? And how did you get to this point to win it?
Well, I knew pretty early on in the race that we had the best long run car, I think, of anybody on the track. And so I just knew that we needed a long run to take full advantage of the race tonight. And luckily we ended up getting that. I think we also made the right call in stage one to come in and get the tires. Joe and I came up through the field, and then I passed him clean with 2 to go in the stage, and he decided not to pass me clean on the final lap there and dumped us. So that was really unfortunate. Damaged the car pretty good. I had to take my fast repair. That kind of stunk, and then got us back there. But I knew if we got the long runs, the Dynamite Chevy was really good on the long run, and I knew we could get ourselves back up there.
Yeah, resilience and perseverance definitely kicked in there. Luckily for you, that incident happened early in the race. You still had easily 250 miles of racing to get back up to the front, and you did just that here tonight. So, that's a statement race. That is a moment. Having it here tonight at Charlotte, nonetheless, that's awesome. And the chase just around the corner now. So. What are your feelings with the next race at Richmond, and how about favorite tracks of the top 5 of the chase races that we got?
Well, I don't really even know to tell you. I haven't really looked at the schedule, so I don't know exactly what's in the chase this year.
I'll give it to you if you want. It's
sure, go ahead.
Richmond's up next. We got Chicagoland for number 2, Auto Club, Fontana, and then Bristol and Las Vegas to crown the season.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to all of those tracks except for Bristol. Bristol is definitely going to be my Achilles heel in that round, although it won't matter because I found out that I have a work trip that week, so I will not even be at the Bristol race. So if we're going to make a run at this championship, we're going to have to get it done in 4 out of 5 races, and I don't know if that's going to be possible because if somebody shows up for all 5, I'm not going to be able to catch them.
Well, it'll definitely be a challenge, and I'm sure you're up for the challenge. So, 4 out of 5. I mean, you missed 1 or 2 here in the regular season, so all you can do is try. And yeah, best of luck on the chase, in the chase here. Looks like you got some teammates in the mix that'll definitely, if anything, you'll probably switch over to team save mode and maybe help the teammates out in Vegas if have to, but. With that too, just excited to see some great racing. Yeah, it did kind of stink a little bit earlier, the contact and the carnage that we did see at the start of the race here. But I'm looking forward to the chase. Hopefully everyone else is too. So any other friends, family, sponsors you want to thank here tonight?
Well, I have to first and foremost definitely thank all of my teammates at Cypress Academy. Jesse, we miss having you out here, brother. We miss racing with you. But Garrett, Charlie, Vince, Lauren, myself, I mean, we've been working hard to make sure that we bring home that team championship regardless for Cypress Academy this year. Knowing that I'm missing a race in the chase, my goal for tonight was to lock up the regular season championship. That is probably some of the best races that I've ever put together in my career. So really proud about that. Again, have to thank Mike Wheel from Mosh Customs for this Dynamite Creative Code Chevrolet paint. Love racing this thing. Love putting it in victory lane. It sure looks good there. Got to thank my wife Leanne, my daughter Johanna, especially my wife Leanne. It's her company, Dynamite Creative Code, that's on the car, and she actually just opened her online store this week. So there's some merchandise starting to go up there. So have a look, see if you're interested. And just again, thank you to the admins at SCSRA for everything they do. And then thank you again for the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Definitely. Yeah, enjoy talking to you at the end of these races. And great return. Great, just resurgence here tonight after, getting knocked back and then getting back up, taking the win here. So that to me is the big statement here tonight, is resurgence, resilience, and just, foremost doing something that most people probably would buckle under the pressure. So congratulations yet again on the win, and have a wonderful night.
Yeah, you betcha. We'll see you at Richmond.
And that is your race winner here. Regular season champion for Cypress Academy, the 24 team. His teammates Garrett Walden, Vince Brent, and Lauren Vincent bringing it home for the top 10 there. And so now the chase. We get to roll into the chase. And that's when we crown the champions at the end of the year. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, staying tuned in all night long for 300 miles of racing here at Charlotte. It's been a long one. I'm ready for bed myself, just like our racers are. So hopefully I'll have a great holiday weekend. Stay safe out there. And hopefully we can see you tuned in next week from Richmond for the Chase opener. So have a great one, folks. We'll see you in the next one. This is Jakester, signing out.